एक बार फिर से आप सभी का स्वागत है फाइनेंस गुरु के चैनल पर। और लेटेस्ट अपडेट मैं लेकर आई हूँ टीडीएस को लेके, क्योंकि आप सब जानते हैं कि अप्रैल 2025 से टैक्स को लेके कई बदलाव हुए हैं, जिसमें से एक टीडीएस भी शामिल है। तो आइए जानते हैं पूरी जानकारी विस्तार से, क्या कहाँ बदलेगा और कैसे आप सतर्कता बरत सकते हैं। और अगर चैनल पर नया है तो सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस वीडियो को सभी तक शेयर करें, जिससे सभी को इसकी रिगार्डिंग जानकारी प्राप्त हो जाए। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। Tax deduction at source TDS is a mechanism under the Income Tax Act where the employer deducts tax from an employer's salary before distributing it. This ensures that tax liability is met in timely manner and prevents tax evasion. The employer is responsible for calculating TDS based on the applicable income tax slab. Rates after considering exemption, deduction, and rebates available to the employee. The deducted amount is then deposited with the government and the employee receives Form 16 as a proof of tax deduction. With effect from 1st April 2025, significant changes have been introduced under Section 115BAC, which governs the new tax regime. These changes impact how TDS is deducted on salaries with a revised set of slab rates. TDS deduction based on new tax regime slab. Employees will deduct TDS on salary income based on the latest slab rates. Employees, however, will still have the option to choose between the old and new tax regime. The old tax regime remains unchanged. Additionally, employee can provide details of any other TDS or TCS deducted outside their salary, and employers will consider these amount before computing the TDS deduction on salary. New tax regime latest slab rates financial year 25-26. If you have an income up to 4 lakh rupees, then tax rate will be 0. From 4 lakh 1 to 8 lakh rupees 5%, 8 lakh 1 to 12 lakh 10%, and 12 lakh 1 to 16 lakh 15%, 16 lakh 1 to 20 lakhs 20, and 20 and 24 25%, and above 24 30%. Rebates and relief. Maximum rebate available 60,000, applicable for income up to 12 lakh. Marginal relief is also available. Deduction allowed under the new tax regime. Employers' contribution to NPS Section 80 CCD2. The deduction has been increased from 10% to 14% of the salary as per the Budget 24. Standard deduction available for both salary and pension. 25,000, applicable from financial year 23 to 24. Family pension scheme deduction section 57 IIA, maximum of 25,000. Agniveer Corpus Fund deduction section 80 CCH2, amount deposited in the fund. Transport allowance provided to a specially abled person. Convenience allowance, compensation for employment related expenses. Tour, transfer or travel allowances, allowance received for such expenses. Daily allowance, coverage ordinary expenses for being away from the duty location. Perquisites for official purpose exempted from tax. Exemptions for retirement benefits include voluntary retirement section 1010C, leave encashment section 1010A, gratuity section 1010, gift received up to 50,000, interest on home loan section 24 for let out properties only. Deduction included from business income under the new regime. Additional depreciation section 32, Investment allowance section 32 AD, section specified deduction section 33A, 33ABA, scientific research expansion section 35, capital expenditure deduction section 35 AD, SEZ unit exemption section 1010A. So please go through it. In whatever the section you belong or whatever the deduction you belong, you can claim like this. Deduction and exemption not allowed under the new regime: professional tax, entertainment allowance, leave travel allowance LTA, house rented allowance HRA, helper allowance, minor child income allowance, allowance to MPs MLAs, allowance to MPs MLAs, special allowance section 1014, children's education allowance, additional depreciation section 32 1II, deduction under section 32 AD, 33 AB, 33 ABA, scientific research donation section 35 2AA, 35 1, 35 1, 35 1, deduction under section 35 AD, 35 CCC, interest on housing loan for self occupied properties. Chapter 4A deduction exempt section 80 CCD2 and 80 JJA. Exemption for food allowance 50 per meal for 2 meals per day. Donation to trust politician parties. Employees' own contribution to NPS. Section 115 BAC for business taxpayers. Business taxpayers can choose between the old and new regime. Once opted for, the new tax regime will remain applicable for all future years. Unlikely salaried individual business taxpayer cannot switch the regime annually. They can revert to the old regime only once in a lifetime. After switching back to the old regime, they cannot opt for the new regime again unless permitted under section condition. So be mindful, all the business people. House property loss under the new tax regime. No deduction for home loan interest on self-occupied property. No 2 lakh deduction that was available in old regime. For let out properties, deduction allowed only up to taxable rent received. Loss from house property cannot be set off against salary income. Loss cannot be carried forward to the future years. So these are applicable in new tax regime for those who have a business or dealing with properties. So do subscribe, do like, and do not forget to